Okay guys, we are going to break down this AR-15. This is actually an A3. It's got a short barrel. I'm going to change this barrel out here in the next couple days, put a 20-inch on it. But it's got a reinforced stock, it's got a custom mag pull grip, it's got a front magazine grip, and I'm going to put a scope on top of it. So this by all means is not complete, but I did want to show you how to break it down and put it back together and what you're going to need to break it down with. So the first thing that you will need obviously is the rifle, but you're also going to need a knife that has a sharp tip, okay, of some kind. You want to make sure that that is something you're very careful with when you use it for one specific part of the field strip. So we're going to get to that in a minute, but let me show you where to start. Okay, there are essentially two joints on the rifle. This is on typically any AR-15, any M16, anything out there. They're all kind of set up the same way. You've got a joint right here and a joint right here. Okay, so you want to take this and depress that button right there. Okay, and you know, I'm not law enforcement, I'm not military, anything like that. This is just stuff I've learned from friends and stuff that I've learned on my own. So I don't know the names of everything, but I can certainly show you how it works and how to do it. And so let's just get started. So you depress this one, and what that does, when you push that in, it's going to protrude from the other side. Okay, so this little bolt will come out. Now, when that happens, that's going to allow you to get to the inside of the rifle. Okay, now my grip, my front grip, prevents me from opening this up all the way because it hinges here. You got an impact point. So normally this would open up completely, but for the sake of this exercise, I'll just show you with a 3/4 opening. So it's going to kind of look like that on the inside. Okay, let me make sure you guys can see. So what you want to do is you want to take both your fingers and depress both these buttons on your charging handle. Okay, and just pull these two apparatuses out. Okay, that'll come out first, and then your charging handle will come out second. Okay, set that aside. Alright, so let's put this aside for now. Alright, now we're going to look at this device here. Okay, now what you want to do, basically, remember I told you to get the knife? Okay, there's this little lock mechanism right here. It's indented, and there's a little dude right in here. And what you want to do is ever so gently take the tip of your knife and you dig that out. You sort of root it out. Okay, so I'm going to make sure you can see this. Okay, and you don't have to force it out. It should just come out very easily. And so that should you should be able to see that guy come out. So there it is. Alright, now don't lose that, it's very important. Okay, now once this is out, your firing pin should just drop right out of the bolt. Okay, that's your firing pin. Okay, and once your firing pin is out, you set the knife aside. There is an area right here on the weapon, on this bolt. What you want to do, you want to push this in, and this is going to be at kind of a vertical to you and me when you look at it. So you want to turn that 90 degrees like that. Okay, and once you turn that 90 degrees, this bolt operates sort of like mortise and tenon, male female. Okay, so you pull that out and set that aside. Okay, and then your internal mechanism comes out. Alright, so you set that aside. That part's pretty easy. Now the other part that we're going to get to is the actual. We're going to separate the upper and the lower receiver on the weapon. Alright, so we're going to depress the other joint. The other one that I showed you. Flip the weapon over and pull that other pin out. This is a new weapon, so it's going to then they're kind of tight, so I kind of have to dig it out a little bit. A lot of guys will push it with the firing pin, they'll dig it out with their knuckle, they'll knock it with their knuckle, you know, however you want to do it. Probably easier if I closed it. That pin comes out like that. See how I did that? Here. And when that happens, your weapon will just come apart. Okay? You might have seen this in a couple movies where they've actually separated guys' weapons, and it's actually, you can actually do it really fast. They have training on it at some of these really special self-defense classes on how to separate a weapon. That's how they do it. So it's pretty clear. This is your lower receiver here. This is your upper receiver. Alright. Now you take your lower receiver, and what I want to show you is this spring in here. I'm going to depress this spring and get this spring to come out. Wasn't very elegant, but you get the point. You want that spring to come out. And so what you want to be able to do is take each of these parts individually and clean them. You know, clean your spring, make sure there's no grit on it. Clean everything, every little device here. You want to make sure it's all very, very clean and well lubricated. And there's no dirt on it, so that when you reassemble the weapon, you have a clean weapon and there's no firing mishaps or anything like that. And so go in here, you clean all these little areas in here, and you want to use two things in particular that I like to use a lot. Is just a good old-fashioned Q-tip. I take Q-tips and I use them for practically all cleaning purposes on the weapon. I use paper towels to get the kind of the bigger stuff. You know, I sort of roll it up and I stuff it down in here to make sure this area in here is cleaned out. And then Q-tip, Q-tip, Q-tip. I mean, I'll go through 80, 90 Q-tips in just one cleaning. And so just keep wiping it, keep spraying it with you know, any type of CLP, which is what I use for a cleaner. So this is clean, lubricant, and rust preventative. And so this is a really good product. You can get it in a squirt bottle, which I like, or you can get an aerosol. I don't like aerosol because the button tends to get stuck on it, and then you waste all your product. But yeah, let's put it back. So once you clean everything, you put it back together, and you're able to you have a firing weapon. So let's go ahead and do that now. So you want to start with your lower receiver, take your spring and put it back in, and you want to catch that little guy right there. There's that little hook right there. That's what you depress and the spring comes out. Okay, so you want that taken care of first. You take this fella and these two guys, so this one and this one, and you insert, and you want this to look at you. We want that hole looking at you. Alright, and you want that hole, those two holes to line up exactly. And you take this little dude and you just stick it right there in the hole. Now if it doesn't fit, it's obviously you have it turned around the wrong direction, and then it will fit. Now don't forget to turn this. Once you turn this, I call it Morrison tenon, I don't know what it's called, but you turn it 90 degrees. Then you take your firing pin and you insert it on the back end of this bolt mechanism, so it sits in there like that. Okay, so you put the pointy end in first, then you take your clamp, take your little clamp, and you want to stick it back, if you can see that, into this hole. Take this little pin and you put it back in here, and sometimes they don't want to go in, so just kind of give it a little twist, push it in, it'll go in, and that holds your firing pin and everything in place. Alright, so set that down. Then you take your upper receiver, okay, take your upper receiver and take your charging handle, and just, when you do your charging handle, you just put it in there, okay, just put it in there, and you want the curved side to the top of the weapon, okay. Push it in and then bring it back. It should catch, and then you should be able to run freely like that. Okay? And you want to hold it there for just a second. Hold it with one finger, and then you take your bolt and you insert it with you insert it with this end in first. Okay. So then you insert that. Oh, you want to make sure that this is extended out when you pull that. Also, don't forget to pull this out, because it will not let you fire the weapon clearly, or even load if you don't have that done properly. Okay. So then you just take it, and very simply, so you have your charging handle and your bolt, and it just loaded in just like that. And then you've got it reloaded. Essentially, you've got it set up properly. Then you take your lower and your upper, put them together, and let's see if I can get this lined up properly. Being tricky with me. Alright. Now I'm just going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to depress both these buttons here. You can see, let me make sure I get you on camera. Depress this button here so that it aligns, and then here. Okay? As soon as it goes in there, alright. So then you have your AR is back ready to fire. And you just want to test it and make sure the charging handle is good to go. So you just take your charging handle, cock it back, it should give you that little pop, and then you're ready to go. You load your magazine. Slam it in, and you're ready to roll. And that is how you field strip an AR-15 or any related M4 or any Colt Bushmaster. They all operate the same way. And so yeah, hopefully that helps you guys. Feel free to add any comments, ask any questions, and I'll be glad to assist you in any way. Alright, bye-bye.